Alright, loves, this is the last video for today before I try to get back to get my work done. Hold on, I move this camera and try to get it back to where I had it. Yeah, I'm not, no makeup, nothing. Those eyelashes, y'all, and I thought this eye was going to swell up because it was, yeah, it's right here, like, along my lash line, y'all, it hurts so bad. So, this video is going to be about the topic of co-parenting. Yes, I was the one. Yes, I was the one speaking about co-parenting and joint custody a few years ago when I was going through my own situation, because initially, y'all, and that has changed, because initially I felt like it was working, okay? So as you guys know, yes, I was married. We were actually married for 6 years, together for a total of 7 to 8 years. We did not get a divorce until, the divorce was not final until, I think, January 2015. And this was after, let me just explain to y'all what happened. So this was a very, very abusive relationship, both mentally, physically, emotionally abusive relationship. And it had got to the point where I just could not take it anymore. And I would leave him, and he would do stuff like, without me, getting too much into detail, he would do stuff like go pick up my little brother and ride him around all day and tell me that he would do something to him, or he was going to do something if I didn't talk to him. So I still went and talked to him because I felt like, okay, he not finna do nothing to him, until my brother would call and be like, Kim, he getting skied up. If you don't know what skied or geeked mean, look it up. Kim, he just getting skied and geeked up, and he just want to talk, man. Just talk to this man. I got stuff to do. So I would give in because I didn't want anything to happen to my people because of me. And I would run to my mom's house every time we would get into a fight. And the last time that he went to prison is because I went over there. His people left him over there when I told his people that my mama and them was going to call the police on him. Take your people with you. They didn't want to deal with him. It's like when I came into his life, it was like they didn't have to worry about him no more. It was all on me. You understand? So that's how I felt when he left that. Like, why would you leave that boy over there after he had already put his hands on me and you stopped him? He was about to fight him, saying, don't do that. That's your wife. Y'all, I wasn't doing nothing to this man. All I did was simply wake this man up that morning, and my hair was being pulled. I was being called all kind of sluts and all kind of... I never cheated on this man. I never talked to anybody else. Y'all, the relationship was so abusive to where I was separated from my family and my friends, and I could not. So for him to do that, I knew that he was just seriously on drugs, and I later found out that he was... and this same day, we was, like I just said, I ran to my mom's house to get away from him, and his people left him over there, and he was like banging my head against the wall. That's something that he would always do, and he would, I managed to get him out the house, and he was kicking the door down, and another family member was in the house, and they got scared, and they called my mom, and my mom is the one that called the police on them. And then when the police got there, he was still acting all crazy, and they searched him and found some of my pills in his pocket. Y'all had a miscarriage. And not even a day or so after I had the miscarriage, he wanted to go on a trip or go out of town. And we stopped by this carnival, and we went to the beach, and at that particular beach, it's like a carnival there. And I didn't want to get on nothing because I was in pain. And I was bleeding, and I couldn't find my pills. And he got mad and said, I don't want to be a part of the family. I don't want to do this. Like, this is what I had to deal with, y'all. So when they searched him, they found my pills in his pocket. Of course, I didn't want to press charges, but he still went to jail because he was kicking a police car window and all this other type of stuff, right? So... fast forward to me actually leaving, and when I left and I moved to Tampa, I filed for divorce in Tampa, and I wasn't aware then. I was young, y'all. I was, 22? I wasn't even, I think I was 20 when I met this dude. I wasn't even old enough to drink or do any of that. And I was young and I was naive. I filed for divorce in Tampa, and I went through that whole process, and then they ended up denying me, saying that they could lose money because it was out of their jurisdiction. So I was informed that I would have to file for divorce in Jacksonville. So what I did was I called him and told him, I was like, okay, since you're not working right now, go ahead and file for divorce so that we don't have to pay for it. This was in 2012, y'all. He did not file for divorce until 2014 when he met his new wife, right? So we going through the whole process, of me going back and forth from Tampa to Jacksonville, because in my mind I still felt like, okay, that's Cheyenne's father, and she don't know him in that light, and I don't want her to know him in that light. So I'm still gonna pretend and act like everything is all good for the sake of my child, which later on y'all will see that was not for the best, right? So he came when I got me a job. That pissed him off because I was getting stable and getting on my shit and getting on my feet without him, right? And he told me, when you get your first check, I'm coming to get the car, and you need to get your own car because you could do it. At that time, me and him was going back and forth because I needed help with food stamps. I needed help with all this. And y'all, all I asked this man to do was sign a paper saying that he helped me so they would not put him on child support. This man mama called me and all that, because what he's explaining to them is not what's really happening. So, and I will elaborate on that as I go down the story. So, in his mind, he's telling them I'm trying to put him on child support, and these are women. So y'all don't understand that. Y'all not looking at it from my standpoint of me being a woman and a mother, and I did bring that up to his mama at some point later on down the line. Y'all thinking about him and y'all covering for him, and y'all doing malicious shit to cover for him. So he got upset and he got mad, and then at some point he was giving me, $40 a week, y'all, to help with Cheyenne, and I was working and doing all that, and I was still coming back and forth, and then I began to feel bad because he was missing out on stuff. And this is what I told myself, Kim, God gave y'all both this blessing, so it's not really up to you to dictate whether he gets to take part in this blessing or not. This is what I told myself. Right now, that doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what I told myself, right? So I quit my job because I went into another depression. I went into another anxiety and depression episode. And I used to go through these, and then that would trigger my health issues. And so I decided, Kim, just move back. Kim, you'll be able to get on your feet again. Just move back. And then at that time, I had a family member that was telling me, yeah, you could come here. Everything gonna be straight. Just da-da-da-da-da-da. So I up and packed all my shit, put it in a U-Haul, and drove to Jacksonville for shit to not go the way I thought it was going to go. So when shit started to break down, and my phone doesn't have any memory. So hold on, y'all. I mean, any storage. So in the midst of all that, I called him because by that time he had got a job. He was going to church, my church that I had introduced him to, by the way. So if all y'all saying Kim stopped going to church, that's because he started going to the church. He took his wife to the church. They ended up getting married in the church, blah, blah, blah. So I just felt uncomfortable, right? So I called him and was like, okay, since you stable, you get her until I get, I can get on my feet, da-da-da. Worst mistake I could have made. Because this was after he was still holding on to me telling him, prove to me that I made a mistake leaving you. He took that as torture me and make me go through hell to see if I would run back to him. And that's not what happened. So when his girlfriend at the time, his now wife, they came and got my child, I did not know that that would be the last time I saw my child for months, y'all. It would be months before I saw my child again. So after I left there, I went to a place that was more stable, but it wasn't fixed up and in the condition that he saw fit. So he filed for divorce. And his angle was, I'm crazy. I live in a trap house. The trap house got shot up in a drive-by and all of this stuff. So when we went to court, y'all, me being the good person that I am, I did not want to bring up his record. I still didn't want to make this man look bad, y'all. And I was not thinking about myself at all. I wasn't thinking about me and what I needed and what my child really, really, really needed at the time. I still didn't want to make this man look bad. So I didn't bring up the violence. I didn't bring up the fact that he abused me. I didn't bring any of that up because I assumed that they would do their research and that they would pull up this information. They did not. I later learned that when it comes to the courts, if you don't present it to them, they're not going to do their homework. They're not going to look into no situations. So he lied about having insurance on our child. He lied about all of that. And like I said, I assumed that they would try to verify this information, and they never did. So what the judge told me was, he looked me in my face and said, Miss Harrell, most mothers do what they feel is best for their child. The judge told him that he was being overprotective and just too much. And I told the judge, I was like, I don't feel like he will do anything to harm our child physically. I wasn't thinking about mentally, psychologically, emotionally. I wasn't thinking about any of that. I just knew that he wouldn't do anything to harm her. So going off of that, I agreed to joint custody. Okay, I agreed to joint custody. I also told the judge before we left out of the courtroom, I said that he's a liar, he's a manipulator. He's going to put on a face and put on a front to get through this situation. And when we leave out of here, it's going to be something different. This is not going to work. And he kept telling me to do what's best for my child. Not knowing that this man has tried to kill me before, and there is a record, public record of him abusing me. More than one, y'all. So we got out of the courtroom, and y'all, what I said happened. I did not see my child. On more than one occasion, this man told me he would kill me. That's another reason, like in the last video, I don't take that shit lightly. So he had her. I went to his house. I did all of this stuff. I went to his mama house to try to get my baby. They would call the police. The police would tell me there's nothing they could do and to take it to court. And because he had filed for divorce, and they went with his narrative, and I was painted as a crazy, angry black woman. Y'all don't even know how many times I kept trying to go back to court to prove my case up until this last time. And the last time, y'all, I did this because I came to the realization that what was happening to me was possibly happening in front of her with his new wife. And the whole purpose of me leaving him was so that she did not have to experience that, right? So I went back to court. Once again, naive, y'all. I just felt like God always wins. The truth is going to always win. But our justice system is not really built on justice and built on truth, right? Because once again, I'm coming off as the crazy, angry black woman. And then I don't have any of my family there because I feel like there is a record of this man abusing me. Do y'all know this lady? And this wasn't even our real judge. I brought this information up, and she just glossed over it like it wasn't nothing. And his family, his sister testified, and his sister was the first person to see him put his hands on me, and she put us out of her house, because he put his hands on me. And I could have sued the Duval County school system, because they had a system to where she worked at the school that my daughter went to. And anytime I would go up there to see my daughter or get my daughter, the teacher would contact her, and they would contact him to see if it was okay for me to get my child. Y'all, I literally had to take my divorce papers up to this school and get their attention, because at that point they realized that they were wrong, and I could have sued them because they were keeping my child away from me. So that the principal sat me down, y'all. The principal cried, y'all, because she was like, he come up here all dressed all nice with this whole such and such on, and trying to make it seem like, and told these people I did not have custody of her, basically like I was gonna come up there and try to kidnap my child, and that I was crazy, that I was on drugs, y'all. And if y'all know me now, even when I smoke, it's not for I detox myself. Like right now I'm sober. I've been sober. Like I detox myself because I don't want to feel burnt out. I don't want to look burnt out. I just don't. It comes to a point where it drives you, if you're not doing it for the right reason, it drives you into a dark place. And I recognize that. So that's why I do it when I want to chill and have fun, and then I stop, right? So this is the picture that he painted to these people. And the principal cried, and she went and got my daughter for me. And my baby was so happy to see me, y'all. And she like was in tears. Her and the counselor was in tears, because they knew I wasn't lying at that point. So I still continue to go through this with this man, y'all, up until recently. And I'm still continuing to go through it with this man. Now it's just now that I'm quiet about it, and I just pray on the situation, and I realize that my daughter does pay attention to my teaching, so she is grounded, and that spiritual wisdom and all that is instilled in her, because the way she speaks, the way she acts, all of that has changed. So I know that no matter what she faces, that foundation, has been set. But I do see she will do things like him. Like she'll purposely do stuff to hurt you. And she'll sit there and look in your face. To watch you in pain. To watch you cry. To watch you be hurt. And those are narcissistic. And those actually characteristics of a sociopath. So y'all, I was the one on my Facebook saying no child support, joint custody, because I felt like at that point this is what was going to work. I knew that my ex-husband had an extensive criminal record. He has attempted murders that he was acquitted for on his criminal record. Y'all, I brought all of this up in court, and these people, they didn't care nothing about that, because to them I was the angry black woman that left my marriage, because unfortunately we do live in a Christian-based society. And because I left the marriage, I was the bad person. No matter why I left the situation, I was the bad person. I guess to them, you're supposed to stay in a situation until you die. And even then, sometimes, because it's not documented, most women don't really get justice in those situations because it's not documented. And we come off as crazy to this male-dominated society, right? So moving forward, when it comes to co-parenting, if it's a situation where this person has been abusive towards you mentally, physically, and emotionally, number one, y'all, we got to start documenting this stuff. Like, we seriously have to start documenting this stuff. We can't put others' wants and needs and others' image and all that other stuff and what the outside world is going to think before our own safety and our own sanity. If you have dealt with someone that have shown you violence, mental, physical, emotional, verbal abuse, do not say you are thinking of the kids by allowing your children to be exposed to this energy. No. I wish I knew then what I knew now, because I would have stayed my ass in Tampa. I would have never moved here. I would have never did any of the things that I did if I knew then what I know now. And I think now we're at a place where it's not us being petty towards each other because my child is able to speak and voice her opinions and voice her feelings. And because she's a girl and he's a man, I think that kind of helps ease that situation. But I still honestly believe that she's being exposed to these behaviors, and God is going to work it out, y'all. Y'all don't even know how much I prayed and how many nights I've cried for her sake. So for the sake of Marley, I refuse to allow her to be exposed to anything that I experienced as a child, because I told y'all about my childhood. I refuse. I don't care what nobody say about me. I don't give. You could paint me as the meanest, most evil bitch in the world. I don't give a fuck at this point, because she will not experience any of that. She will go through her own lessons, and they will be totally different from what I experienced, what her sister experienced, what her father experienced, what her grandparents experienced. I want her to experience a totally different life, y'all. So that's basically what I wanted to say to you guys. People are trying to, like I said, make videos and overtalk me and beat me to saying what I'm trying to say. And this particular person said dealing with a narcissist, and you got children with a narcissist. Do not expose your children to that energy. God understand, okay? And that's a part of their path. For you to break that cycle and not expose your children to that same toxic energy, okay? That's a number one way how you can break a generational curse, by not allowing your children to go through what you went through, not allowing your children to experience what you experienced, okay? Y'all, I love y'all. I'm pretty sure that there'll be another video, because I'm doing coursework, and y'all know I'm trying to become, a life coach for you guys, do a spiritual life coach, a therapist, counselor for you guys, and mainly children. But I just wanted to share that with you guys, because there's someone out there that's going through that, and they needed to hear this message. I love you guys so much. I want you to please stay safe, protect your light, protect your love, y'all. Be positive, be productive. Namaste.